horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. It's time to do one of my favorite things at this time of the year because with the end of June, we're halfway over, so I like to always do this type of video. It's my top 5 best and top 5 worst horror movies of 2020 so far. Now, obviously, wasn't going to be something easy to do because of COVID-19. A lot of movies that were scheduled to be released this year, particularly horror movies, were not released in theaters. So we had to scrunge and actually look for horror movies to watch on social media networks, such as streaming services as Netflix, Hulu, Shudder. Luckily, I was able to see enough of those movies that came on those streaming services, so I was actually get top 5 and top 10 horror movies that came out this year. Now, we did get some decent horror movies that come out earlier in the year, and we got some not so good ones that came out later on in the year before theaters shut down. But I was able to get top 5 and top 5 best and top 5 worst horror movies so far in 2020 this year. And I think you're going to like this list. So let's go on and begin. I want to get the bad news out of the way, so I'm going to begin with my top 5 worst horror movies that came out this year. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do any honorable mentions. I just don't have enough honorable mentions at this time. But then I really don't do it anyway because it takes up time, and there's some movies I want to include on here. But let's begin with number 5, one of the top 5 worst horror movies to come out, and that is The Turning. Now, remember, this came out earlier this year. It actually had a good cast. Mackenzie Davis, Gwen Wilford from Stranger Things, and Brooklyn Prince. Now, Brooklyn Prince actually did a good job. I thought she's one of the best things happened in the picture, and it looked very nice. It had a nice gothic setting. Cinematography was great. The film looked well, but it's just the story. It was just, oh, God, this horrible ghost story. And I don't even want to talk about their crappy-ass ending in the third act. I'm pretty sure if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So coming in at number 5, The Turning. Coming in at number 4 is the 2002's remake of the popular 70s TV show, Fantasy Island. Yes. I actually had the idea of making fantasies and creating them dark was a good idea, but unfortunately this one, oh boy, this one starred Michael Pena, Maggie Q, and Lucy Hale. Now, it seemed like sort of like a Saw situation. You had these 3 people. It was 4 people. 2 brothers. Then you had Maggie Q's character, Lucy Hale's character, all come to Fantasy Island looking to do different things to celebrate their, to live out their fantasies. But unfortunately, this film, produced by Blumhouse, decided to go the PG-13 route, and obviously some poor execution, bad storyline, and unfortunately, Michael Rooker, was talented, was wasted in this particular film as well. I didn't want to talk about the supposed twist that happens in the third act as the reason why those 4 people were brought there all together to the island. But what are you going to do? It was a terrible film. It was a terrible waste. It's kind of an insult to what Fantasy Island was. But coming in at number 4 is Fantasy Island. Coming in at number 3, what I just actually seen recently, I'll leave a cue card up there if you have not seen my review of You Should Have Left. You should have not watched this film because nothing happens. It's boring. It's dull. I mean, well, from watching other people's reviews, a lot of people had trouble with the supposed marriage between Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried. They did not actually have good chemistry because it looked more like a granddaughter relationship as opposed to a husband and wife because of their huge age differences. But nothing really happens in the film. It's dull and boring. Again, it looks nice. It looks very well nice in the Welsh countryside. Yeah, the very nice modern-looking house. But the film was just boring and boring. It lacked anything at all. It was not scary. It was not tense. No atmosphere. Nothing. So coming in at number 3, You Should Have Left. Coming in at number 2, and I'm pretty sure this might be people's number 1 worst horror movie so far this year, and that's The Grudge 2020. In an attempt to reboot the 2004 American remake of the original 2002 Japanese horror film, The Grudge, we have this new version of The Grudge, which supposedly happens during the same time as the 2004 version. But again, very boring. Nothing really happens. And we do get some nice gore effects. It's a shame. It's like I said, it's a waste of talent with Lin Shane. She's in this picture. A lot of people said that she was the best thing out this picture. John Cho is in this picture. I think he and Billy Giplin actually have pretty good roles in this particular film. But Andrea Roseborough will start in this film. I thought she was. I don't know if it's more of the script or her or both, but she's definitely not a good leading lady in this one right here. I'd rather watch. Sarah Michelle Gellar's performance in the original Grudge film. She did a very good job, and what are you going to do? But coming in at number 2 is The Grudge 2020. And I can guess you probably will know what my number 1 worst horror film so far of 2020 is, because it's only the second time that I actually gave a film none of my gut bloody gold coins, and that's Bronze the Boy 2. I mean, you want to talk about a very disappointing film. Now, I didn't like The Boy that much, but at least they had a nice twist in it. And I thought Lauren Cohen did a pretty good job here. But Katie Holmes, ooh, boy, she's just a waste. How far she's fallen right here. Now, this is supposed to be a standalone sequel to The Boy, but whatever elements of the ending of The Boy certainly did not carry over here. They tried to do a more supernatural take of The Boy in this version, which doesn't work because everyone liked the aspect of the original. Why they decided to change it, I don't know why, but obviously terrible, 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 terrible. And I won't even talk about the ending. So, my number 1 worst horror movie so far this year is Bronze the Boy 2. So there you go. That's my top 5 worst horror pictures of 2020 so far this year. So now let's go on to see what are my top 5 best horror movies so far this year. Let's see. Coming in at number 5 will be from Netflix, The Platform. Now this was a Spanish horror film that actually had a pretty good premise in the film. If you don't know what the premise is, we have these prisoners. This is a large, huge, tall building where you have prisoners at. We don't know where they're located at. But there's 2 prisoners to a floor, and at the center of the floor, this platform comes down. Now, at the beginning of the film, we see people making all this food. And people at the top, and as the platform comes down, you get at least 5 minutes to eat as much as you can before the platform goes to the lower level. Now, I actually thought it was decent because obviously if you're on one of the higher levels, you get all the food. But as the lower levels you go, the less food you're going to get. I also like the fact that they recycle these prisoners on what floors that they get on. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the movie itself, but if you want to see my review, I'll leave a card up there for that, my review of the platform. What I liked about it was the premise. I love the acting in the film. I like the gore effects. There were some decent gore effects. Some of the stuff of the film can get a bit disgusting, but the ending kind of let the film flat a little bit. I really didn't like the ending that much, but I still didn't take away my enjoyment of the film. So I'm coming in at number 5 from Netflix, The Platform. Coming in at number 4, one of the best horror movies I saw this year is The Hunt. Yes, I like the premise of the film. We get people on the left and people on the right, but we really don't know which one they are. They do satires on both sides of the aisle. We have Billy Gilpin's character and Hilary Swank, and their characters had one of the best female fights I've seen so far at the end of the Spinnaker. Very good practical effects. Love the film. Love the premise. It's very violent, and I think Billy Gilpin gave one of her best performances of the year. So coming in at number 4 is The Hunt. Coming in at number 3, recently seen, and I'll leave a card up there, is Becky. Yes, Lulu Wilson plays 13. I think she's 13 or 14. I think 13-year-old Becky. She finds that her family's been taken by Kevin James and his neo-Nazis skinheads. They're looking for a special key. But Becky is one girl you don't want to mess with, and she gets her revenge because he's very angry. And I won't go too much of the plot, but yeah, once again, very good practical effects. Love the performances by Lulu Phillips once again as Becky, and of course Kevin James plays against type. He does a pretty good job as the antagonist here. Very good horror movie. So coming at number 3 is Becky. Coming in at number 2, and I wish more people get a chance to see this. This is called Mom, Mother of Monsters. Now, again, I want to thank Jen from Jen's Reviews from the Grave. Her and Christian saw this picture and she loved it very much, and I loved it too. Very decent found footage movie. It's a bunch of documentaries. It's film documentary style where this mother decides to film or to document because she believes her son is going to do something crazy or deadly. And we see the traumatic uh, relationship between the two of them. You know, we see both of them going down this downward spiral. And obviously, as you know, the more craziness begins, the more we see what's happening in this film. And it gets to the point where obviously you realize what's going to happen at the end. And I truly love the performances of the leads in here. So if you haven't seen Mom, Mother of Monsters, please check it out. It's a very decent psychological found footage film. So coming at number 2 is Mom, Mother of Monsters. And of course, I'm pretty sure most of you probably guessed what my number 1 horror movie so far this year. And yes, it's The Invisible Man. Yes, I truly love this film. Elizabeth Moss does a great job playing Cecilia, a battered woman trying to escape her abuser's past. She realizes that Adrian supposedly had killed himself and left her all this money, only the fact that she can't be proven insane. And then we see what happens as Adrian torments her with an invisible suit. I thought she gave great performances. I like the practical effects. I like the fact that they did not try to copy what the Hollow Man and the original Invisible Man did as far as the Adrian's ability to turn himself visible. I actually like the fact that they did something different. And this is going to obviously let Hollywood realize that if done right, and you have the right director, as Lee Whannell proves it, you can actually create a good story from the original Universal Monsters, not like that crap fest we had with Tom Cruise and The Mummy. So expect more adaptations from the original Universal Monsters. But coming in, my number 1 horror movie so far this year is The Invisible Man. So there you have it, my horror fans. Those are my top 5 best and top 5 worst horror movies so far this year. What are your recommendations? Do you agree with my list? Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you think are your top 5 best and top 5 worst horror movies so far of 2020. And so that's my video for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Also, all my social media links will be in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.